This is my research paper presentation. The overreaching theme of my research papers was systemic racism faced by African Americans in the sports world, deeply explaining the hardships and challenges they encountered while competing in sports. The process of my paper was, after selecting my theme, I went through the process of finding credible sources that relate to the topics of athletics and best illustrate how systemic racism is demonstrated. Once I find those sources, I search for effective terms that connect back to my overall topic. After that, I created an annotated bibliography for each of the sources used, and then I found my thesis that helped set up my structure for my paper. A summary of my paper is, the major leagues started as an all-white sport until people like Jackie Robinson, Henry Aaron, and Willie Mays helped transform stringent racial exclusions within the game. Even with the progress that has been made, racism remains a big challenge for the baseball community. Racial inequality and inequity are damaging teams, making it difficult for Black players to establish relationships within their teammates. The first term I used was systemic racism, defined as unjustly gained economic and political power of white people, the continuing resource inequalities, and the white racist ideologies, attitudes, and institutions created to preserve white advantage and power. The second one I used was colorism, which gives differential value to people in the same racial group based on continuum from light to dark. The last one I used was implicit bias, which is an unreasoned judgmental inclinations that operate without our conscious awareness. The peer review provided a better understanding of the requirements for a successful paper. I learned from my mistakes and listened to someone else's constructive criticism, which better prepared me for my second essay. For example, my reviewer said that I had too many spaces between each paragraph. So the first thing I made sure to do on my second research paper was to have the right spacing. Quick summary of my second research paper is, gymnastics has been a fundamental part of the Olympics since the 1890s. Many Black individuals face the challenges of discrimination in the sports arena, and women encounter not only racial discrimination but also gender discrimination. And this is something that was very, very problematic when competing in things like the Olympics and winning medals. The thesis is, the gymnastics community has highlighted significant ideals such as a beauty quotas, controlling images, and affirmative action that have negatively impacted minorities. The term beauty quota is a concept explaining how sexism and racism interact to create a quota of women ranging from the lightest to the darkest, in which the lightest gain most resources. The second term I learned was controlling images, which refers to the management of representations of race, gender, and class in the media that influence people's perceptions of what African Americans are and are not. Affirmative action refers to policies and procedures designed to combat ongoing discrimination on schools and the workplace. The term can also be used as a means to promote minorities. I believe I did not meet the requirements to prove my thesis because I wasn't sure if I was answering all the questions properly according to the rubric. I learned to use my time wisely and to ask for help for clarification. I also learned how to format my work differently and how to create an annotated bibliography. I chose these two images because the top picture represents my research paper number 1 that consists of baseball, and the bottom picture represents gymnastics, which was my second research paper. What I learned from this assignment is to not procrastinate. I also learned and gained a lot of knowledge from all the research I've done on these topics. I faced several challenges while writing this paper. Initially, I was uncertain if I was following directions correctly. I found it very difficult to start, particularly with the introduction and a strong thesis. Additionally, I struggled to find motivation to even start and complete the paper. The main thing I would do differently is use my time more efficiently and ask questions if I don't understand. I spent about 2 weeks on each paper. The first week was dedicated to researching the topic, and the second week was used to structure the paper with sections including introductions, paragraphs, and conclusion. My advice would definitely be to ask for help and do not procrastinate. And also to choose a topic that you are interested in and enjoy researching.